So Master of Orion is one of the most important games in the history of strategy games. It established the basis of all the 4X games that came afterwards. For us, making Master of Orion is the opportunity of a lifetime. The game has 5 different victory conditions. You can win the game by excellence, being the best race in the galaxy. You can have the best technology. You can beat your enemies in terms of your economy. You can crush them with your armada. So the player is able to experience this game in many different ways. So there's a great deal of replay value, and there are very different strategies that players can come up with to dominate in this galaxy.
One of the things we wanted to achieve with Master of Orion was to keep the game simple. Keeping it simple implies you'll be able to win it in a simple way. And that was something the game predecessors did in a very interesting way, having only the diplomatic victory, which was the pacifist way to win the game, or the conquest victory, which was the warlike way to win the game. We believe that, although those 2 victory conditions can be enough and are very interesting, there are other resources involved in the game, other currencies involved in the game, which also generate a different way of playing. Why not give the players the possibility of playing in a different way, and to express their gaming ways in a different manner, and in this way of distinctive playing, they can achieve a victory condition. Like that, the victory conditions are related to the resources, because we included the technological victory, which is related in some way to the quantity of research that a civilization can produce. The economic victory, which is related to the quantity of credits that a civilization can produce, which are related to the morale of the empire. And of course, we created another type of victory, which is the excellence victory, which is a victory that happens when the games are time limited, and when this limit is achieved, the player with the best score given by the other victory conditions, an accumulation of those, is the one who wins the game.
Es el que gana la partida.
Each race in Master of Orion has different attributes and perks, as we call them. When you're playing the meklar, for example, you have all of these production boosts that allows you to produce faster, and so you can grow your armada and your colonies much faster. Other races like the Epsilon, for example, they always have a technological advantage because they research faster. But there's also a challenge of being an aggressive Cylon, or trying to pursue different victory conditions with the different races and the different perks. And also you can create your own custom race to customize your experience and to set your own goals.
Finding a style for each race in Master of Orion consisted of taking each race in the game and highlighting the most important and characteristic aspects of each race. So we faced the challenge of making each race unique, but at the same time they had to be consistent, and one had to be able to differentiate them by color and shape, be it their characters or their ships. In the case of the Darlock, they were one of the races that underwent the biggest changes, because we were faced with a design that was quite difficult to update. It was very much based on the designs of the 80s, and we believed that them being such a technological race, we had to transmit how we see technology nowadays.
We had to create a whole animation team from scratch. Luckily, there is a big animation community in the country, and there's a lot of experience working on movies, CGI movies. So we made a great animation team, and this shows in the quality of our work, our diplomacy scenes.
The diplomacy in Master of Orion is one of the best and most important things of the game. So we wanted to sell the idea that the character is alive. So we have different stances for each character. So you know visually if he's hostile, friendly, cautious. We always thought that was better than having just a slider in the UI to tell you that.
The decision to turn diplomacy into a more important part of the game faced us with the challenge of not only designing the emperors, but also their surroundings. That made us look into their culture, their architecture, so we could transmit the experience of what each race was like to the player, so they could feel a part of it.
So the animation in Master of Orion was a really huge task because we had to make like 2 hours of animation. We had 10 different races. We had different characters that acted differently, even within the same race. And for example, that was a big challenge with the meklarers. The meklar had a voice that sounded very much like a tiny robot.
Unrelenting aggression towards the Combine is inexcusable.
But the character design was really organic. You have this feel of a snake, a mechanic snake, but we had to be in the middle of that. We made the movements as a snake, but then added a few more layers of mechanical movements in it. Some character design were more difficult than others. When you have, like, for example, the klakon, you have 6 feet and 2 hands to work with.
For the game's development, we brainstormed a huge variety of styles. We started making up concepts from a cartoonish style, very much like updating the original game, up to more realistic aesthetics. We kept picking the best of each world in those styles to obtain what we thought would be the best for the project, what the fans wanted to see for us. It was transmitting that feeling of them playing Master of Orion for the first time, but with it being completely up to date, a game of this time, a AAA game.